Indeed. Welcome to Ghost on Coast to Coast AM. You know, this is the kind of night after the couple of months we've been having with this economic calamity everybody's in, just to kind of sit back for a change and chill. And it's kind of nice today, at least here in St. Louis, to see people with their costumes on doing what they do and having a lot of fun. But again, go up to the coasttocoastam.com website, click the Digicam icon that you'll see there. Take a look at producer Tom, who is wearing a mask that I bought from the company that made that fraudulent Bigfoot costume. It's a great costume. They didn't know it was going to be used for that purpose. But go take a look at what I bought. Tommy's in costume there at coasttocoastam.com.
This is John DeSalvo, and do I have a ghost story for you? This is actually a true story that happened to a very close friend of mine. Her name is Judy. She is a retired newspaper editor, and most of her life she had the gift of being psychic. And this story took place in 1979. There was this couple who Judy knew, whose husband was a skeptic and did not really believe in the supernatural or Judy's psychic ability. Then one night, about 2 in the morning, Judy's phone rings. At the other end is that skeptical husband, and he sounds frantic. Judy says, "Calm down, tell me what happened." He said that he and his wife were sleeping, and they were awakened by the sound of music. They followed the sound to the children's room. They had a boy and a girl who shared a bedroom. The children were sitting up in bed with a frightened and almost paralyzed look on them, staring into the open closet in their bedroom. The music was coming from the closet. As the father approached the closet, he saw that the music was coming from an old 1950 Emerson radio, which was being stored there. The only unusual thing about it was that the radio was not plugged in. The father got the children out of the room as fast as he could and then called Judy. When Judy arrived, the husband was trembling and pointed to something near the door. It was a crucifix. He said that there was a bottle of holy water that was attached to the crucifix stand, and it is completely gone. He had previously found it missing when he went to get it to sprinkle it in the children's bedroom. No idea what happened. Judy touched the crucifix and felt a presence which was very angry, frustrated, and deeply saddened. It was a woman. So they led Judy to the children's room, and as they passed from one room to the other, the lights flickered. When they got to the children's room, Judy looked into the closet, and the Emerson radio was still playing, unplugged. Then something caught Judy's eye. Right next to the radio was the bottle of holy water. Judy then remembered that the wife's mother had just passed away. The old Emerson radio belonged to her. And the wife told Judy that she and her sister had been fighting over the deceased mother's possessions, and there had been much anger and frustration in the family. Judy knew that the spirit presence was the mother, and she was the cause of this disturbance. The mother was not happy with what was going on, and Judy felt that the deceased mother wanted the sisters to work this out in love. The wife agreed, and at this moment the disturbance stopped. Now, when everything calmed down, Judy asked the children if they had seen their grandmother since she had gone to be with God. And the girls said their grandma came to see them at night when her mommy and daddy were sleeping to let them know how much she loved them. The boy said that when the radio was playing, it was really neat because he didn't have to have it plugged in. But he wanted to hear some other kind of music than the 50s music that it had been playing. So I really like this story since it shows that love within a family survives even after death. And I would like to wish the Ghost to Ghost audience a happy and scary Halloween night.
That's a great story, John. Let's go to the phones now. We'll go to Jeff in Indianapolis. You're up with us. Hey, Jeffrey, thanks for holding.
Hey, how are you doing? Happy
Good.
Halloween.
You too, my friend.
Just to let you know that our son in 2003 was on your website with his birth announcement for Halloween.
Cool.
Yeah. He was dressed up as, not dressed as an alien, but I photo-touched him to be an alien.
And now he's 5 years old, huh?
Now he's 5, and he still carries the picture around with him and tells everybody it's him.
That's great. That's great.
Well, my story starts on the south side of Indianapolis. We lived in a house. Actually, we bought the house from my aunt and uncle. And when we had lived there, she had passed away in 1972 from cancer in the house. And I had always been, as maybe a teenager, my bedroom was always the head of my bed would be facing the bathroom, and my stereo would be on the other side. It was a silver stereo, so there would always be a reflection. And then I would wait at 4 o'clock in the morning to hear my dad saying, "Get away from the door. Get away from the door." He'd be in the bathroom getting ready, and every morning I'd be like, what's he talking about, with nobody there? And finally it came out one year. We went to a family function, and my mom, who was definitely a non-believer, finally just opened up and told the whole story. That they used to play cards, and up and down the stairs they would hear feet steps going up, but never down. And they would hear things going on in other rooms. My dad he liked to drink a little bit.
Yeah. And
if he would come home late at night, then all the doors in the house would be open and the lights would be on. And then my mother used to say that she would put her feet down at the end of the bed to keep her feet warm because that's where my aunt sat. Then my brother had a girlfriend, and the basement seemed to be the hot spot. And one night she came up as white as a ghost and said that she had seen a woman in a bathrobe with curlers in her hair sitting on the edge of the couch while she was alone.
That's the end.
And she would never come back to the house again. And my mom had finally told us that she had went down there and saw my aunt sitting on the end of the couch when she did laundry. And she would just look at her and she'd say, "Hi, Glenda, how are you doing?" Go in, do her laundry, go back upstairs.
And would the apparition notice her? Would it
yes.
kind of look at her? Jeez.
It turned her head and looked right at her. With my mom basically being a non-believer, it was just kind of amazing the way she interacted with it.
Well, she was a believer then. Hey, thanks, Jeff. Let's take a few more here. Ellen, you're on Coast to Coast. Hi, Ellen.
Hello.
Hi. Where are you calling from, Ellen?
I'm calling from Arizona.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, this is a story that happened to me about 16 years ago.
16? Okay.
Yes, and I lived in a about 100-year-old Victorian house that was quite isolated.
Oh, I can see it coming now.
It was on top of a hill, and not too much around it. An old warehouse across the street.
The house on the haunted hill, huh?
It was a haunted hill, or still is to this day. And I lived there with a roommate, but on this particular night, I was home alone. And most nights, very strangely, I'd awaken about 2 o'clock or a little after 2 o'clock. And I woke up on this particular evening, and I could hear these strange noises from the furthest end of the house. It sounded as though somebody was running around in the house, but not like a real person, sort of very, very rapid footsteps running from one room to another. Started off in the kitchen.
Did it sound like animal sounds or a little person maybe?
Just a small person running around.
Small, okay.
Yeah. And ran from the kitchen to the dining room and back again a few times. And I was just sort of lying there listening to this, and it kept running from the dining room then to the living room. Constant,
pitter-patter, back and forth.
Yes, back and forth a few times. And then the noise continued, and it went from the living room to the second bedroom, just also off the living room. And I was just sort of lying there listening and didn't quite know what to think. I started getting a little afraid, and I could hear this thing running around, and it went into the second bedroom and then ran through an adjoining bathroom and whooshed right into bed with me. And it was just right next to me.
And did the pitter-pattering stop after that?
Yes. Yes, it did. I could hear something, and it just came through the bathroom from the other bedroom. And I was facing away from the door, and